Hey guys, I am back from my little trip to City Island. We had an awesome time. But I want to talk about women, mothers that be body shaming their daughters. So since I've been home the last, 2 months, I've been putting on some weight, mostly water weight, because I haven't really like gained solid weight from the scale. But um, I wanted to show y'all something right quick. Is your passcode the same as mine? Because I've glitched it out by mistake. Hmm?
You could just put the screenshot in editing on the screen.
Oh, I don't do all that. I just wasn't paying attention. Thank you. So, y'all heard of something called weight gain, right? But anyways, my mom sends. This is my birthday week, trying to relax and everything, and I wake up to a text that my daughter said my mom sent this to her phone. Look what she said about my face. This is, you know how sometimes my face is getting a little weight, but it's sometimes the camera make you look bigger than what you are, like the angles. So she screenshots one of my TikTok videos just to tell my daughter this. It says, "Why is your mom's chin so swollen?" Hold on, I don't want it to time out. Why is your mom's chin? Why is it? You can see a shadow on it. Why is your mom's chin so swollen? Tell her to go to the doctor. Something is wrong. You see the little chubbiness on my face? You see it right here under my cheek? You see that? Yeah, it's called weight gain. So depending on what angle I move, if I put the camera under here, you know, you'll see my double chin, right? Because I've been sitting around eating I don't eat a lot of junk food, but my point is this. Hold on, let me get my daughter back her phone. Here you go. Thank you. So I want to show y'all my little gift I got from my family. This is one of my favorite perfumes. It's called the Voce Viva Valentino. I love it. I love it. I love it. And my daughter got me this little hat. But I wanted to talk about women and body shaming their daughters. Y'all gotta stop that shit. Like, stop putting your insecurities on your children. Whatever your insecurities are. If you ain't never make it in life, you know what I'm saying, you wanted to be a supermodel, or you want her to be prim and prop for a man, you know, putting her mind to be a pygmeisha. If you always wanted to be, you know, an actress or a doctor and you never made it, so now you want to put all your insecurities on your children. Y'all got to stop that shit. But women have a habit, and there's no matter what race, this is not just black women, y'all got a habit of body shaming y'all daughters too much. I remember when I was like in my 30s, and my mom used to talk about my weight gain from having the babies. Then she would pick on my kids, saying that my kids were chubby when they were like 8. And you know how kids have that baby weight before they turn preteen and teenagers. So when they turn teen, they kind of like the weight just turned to muscle. And then she's like, "Oh, how'd you lose all that weight?" Even if you're saying somebody lost weight, she's doing it like in an insult. You know what I'm saying? And this is something we've always had to deal with, dealing with her narcissism. And like about a week ago, she told one of my little nieces, who's only 8, no, she's 10, how I don't have a husband and she has a husband, and mothers are supposed to compete with their daughters or some crap like that. So my niece was like, "That's what grandma said about you." And I'm like, see, I'm in my own little business, minding my own little business, not bothering nobody. I just turned 50, and a 70-year-old woman shouldn't be worrying about anybody else's looks. I mean, you're 70. Shouldn't you be baking cookies and helping the community and going to the schools and working with the children? Why are you worrying about somebody's looks and somebody's vagina? This is a mental illness with some of these people. Some of these women have mental illness, and they try to like when I woke up to that text, and I know you're probably saying, well, you should be used to it. No one really ever gets used to verbal abuse. No one ever really gets used to mental abuse. Even though I blocked her off of my phone, she texts my daughter. My daughter didn't block her because my daughter keeps in touch with the other cousins and stuff. So why are you texting my daughter about how I look? Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? It's really becoming obsessive with some of my family members. It really is. Like, if I can go on an island somewhere and just not be bothered, and I was trying to tell my brother today, like, I don't rock with none of them. And he was like, oh, she's just an old lady. She's just bored. I'm like, see, this is the problem. Y'all don't see. Now, some of them do, but some of them are just too afraid to speak out. But my thing is, it's just like the body shaming. I don't know if some of them do realize it and some of them just don't care that you put self-esteem issues on your daughter when you're constantly tape measuring them for every inch that they lose or every inch that they gain, or any, acne, they want to point out all your flaws. It's like anytime you have a flaw, they just want to focus on it and make you feel bad. So after she sent the text, I'm like, I know I gained weight, but damn, was it that bad? So I'm looking at my face, like it start making, like I literally start feeling like, okay, now I know I do need to get back a little bit more tone, but right now my focus is on getting my master's degree. So I'm not really focused on every little flaw that I got. You know what I'm saying? But when someone highlights it, it's like you can't help but think about it. So then the next day I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, damn, I need to get some eggs. Because, if you put eggs on your face, it does firm up your face. If you put a raw egg. And I'm like, see, this is why I don't like people getting in my head, because I'm sensitive. Even though I'm a Scorpio and I'm tough, I still have a sensitive core. You see what I'm saying? Because of me being abused as a child, I will always have a sensitive core. So insults and people bothering me and picking on me, it still troubles me, because that's still part of my trauma. You see what I'm saying? That's why I really don't like bullies and stuff like that, because my little brother, he's younger than me. He's not little anymore. I just call him my little brother. But I have another brother who has he's really schizoid typical, but it's like it resembles Asperger's, which is a form of autism. But my brother has schizoid typical personality disorder. And when we was growing up in school, the little kids, they would pick on him. And when he would come outside on the playground, they would try to mess with him. But being that he had two older sisters, we always fought his battles. So throughout our years, that was something that bothered me, that it's like, why y'all gotta pick on him? He don't bother nobody. You see what I'm saying? So I don't like that mentality of people that abuse other people, whether they verbally abuse them, mentally abuse them. That it's a trauma trigger for me. Not saying that I'm still traumatized, but it's always going to be, trauma never really goes away. So certain things might resurface that feeling. So when she sent that text, I was like, see, this is why I blocked you in the first place, lady. But that wasn't good enough for her. She has to make sure she finds a way to mentally torment me. It's like, damn, it's not enough that you talk behind my back to all the family members. You got to make sure you tell one of my children how you really feel. Like what are we talking about? I'm just so tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. She went to Africa and found her some type of migrant to marry her. I guess he married her to get a green card to come to America or whatever. So she's bragging about finding a husband, and we're looking like, you want to call that a husband? Okay, knock yourself out. But don't pick on all the other women in the family saying, well, oh, you guys don't have a husband and I got a husband. Yo, what's wrong with these moms? Why y'all just can't act normal? Why y'all can't treat your daughters like princesses, that the way they need to be treated? You put some of y'all put your sons on a pedestal and treat your daughters like trash. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just getting to the point where enough is enough. If you got to go and get some therapy for yourself, find out why you're so obsessed with your daughters. A lot of y'all are just obsessed with your daughters. And you're not even obsessed in a good way. I could see if you're putting good values into them and promoting healthy things for them. But you're constantly insulting them. I remember a long time ago, I want to say it's about 2 years ago, I told my daughter, I think I said something about use this type of cream to avoid the stretch marks because you have some on your legs. And then she was like, yeah, whatever. And then I mentioned it again like a week later, and she said, yeah, whatever. And then maybe like a month or two later, I brought it up again, and she checked me. She was like, how many times are you going to tell me about that cream? If I want to do the stretch mark cream, I will get the stretch mark cream. And I was like, what? Why you got attitude? And she was like, yeah, because you keep asking me, you keep pointing out that I need to get the cream. So I said, oh, my bad. I really thought I was helping. And she was like, honestly, it's annoying, mommy. And I was like, well, you could have just said that nicely. And she was like, okay, well, my bad. But would you stop doing that? And I said, I can understand what you're saying because I don't like when people do it to me. So if you're doing it out of, you just don't realize you're doing it, at some point your kids tell you when they're bothered by what you're doing. They'll either catch an attitude, roll their eyes, pick up on those cues, and stop doing the behavior. If you're doing something that's bothering someone over and over again, do you realize that that's called abuse? Stop abusing your children mentally. Y'all think because you ain't pick up a frying pan and crack their skull, that's not abuse. There's all different types of abuse. When you're tearing your children down, calling them names, calling them stupid, calling them ugly, saying you just like your ugly daddy or your deadbeat daddy, that is abuse. And we got to start taking ownership for it. If you're one of those moms that have done that, you need to go apologize to your kids. I don't care if you did it last month, a year ago. You need to have a sit down and talk to your children. That's why these kids are going out here and blowing up buildings and acting a fool. Because they don't feel loved. They feel abused. And I had to bring this up because I've talked about parenting in some of my videos in the past, but I haven't really talked about body shaming. That is a big thing. In our culture, it's a big thing. In the European culture, it's a big thing. In the Asian culture, it's a big thing. Indian culture, Spanish culture, all of y'all fucking do it. All of y'all do it to the women. The men probably get it too. I'm not saying the men don't get it, but we already know in some cultures, having a skinny neck is a big deal. Like the Asian cultures, having a skinny neck, they put these unnecessary braces. Like the brace is so like made of steel or some type of shit. I forgot the name of it, and they'll wrap it around their neck. And then the daughters is walking around like this, and they're telling them things like, oh, you're never going to have a husband if your neck is wrinkled or if it's fat. All of this shit is ridiculous. It's demonic. You got some women, and I don't know if it's, I forgot the culture, but they bind their feet so that the feet don't grow because having large feet is unladylike. I have long hands. I've always had long, skinny hands and long feet. They're not hugely long. They're not like grotesquely long, but I'm a slender woman. And over the years, I gained weight, but my body was always naturally slender. So if I was to think about these cultures, I would never meet up to the cultures, the different types of looks. So growing up, when I was under 19, I was slim. And I had always wanted to be thick because I thought that was what was considered beautiful. So even though everywhere I went, people said, oh, you're so pretty, you should be a model, they always said that I was slim. And I had a problem with that because the men used to make it sound like, oh, you slim, you pretty, but you slim. It was always like this stigma that you're not good enough because of your body shape or size, right? So then white men used to find me more attractive than black men because I was slim back then. So then, like, let's say a white guy is attracted to me, I will always have some black dude in the corner hating. Oh, you only date out of your race, and it's like, you wasn't checking for me, but now that I'm checking other races, you got an issue with that. So then when I gained weight, I started hearing crazy things like, some Spanish guy was like, oh, they feel like black women with big boobs, big booties have feces stuck up in there. It was always something where they criticize women's bodies. So then when you gain too much weight, you call names. You call ghetto, you this. It's just, it never stops. We perpetrate these awful stigmas on our females. And it's ridiculous. There's something else I had to say. So then when I finally gained the weight, I'm now worrying about the fat pockets that come with gaining weight. So it's like, be careful what you ask for. So that's why I always promote my daughter's beauty. I always talk about how beautiful my daughters are. I tell them, you look really pretty, you look really nice. You have a nice shape. I don't overdo it, but you know what I'm saying? I always make sure that I promote my daughter's esteem. And I always let them know it's not just about your looks. I tell them how smart, the things that they'll say. I would be like, man, you really interesting. Wow, you're really fun, or you're really funny. Or, you know what I'm saying? I promote their traits because I never had nobody to do it for me. So if you know that was something that was missing out of your life, why would you keep repeating the generational curse by putting that onto your children? You do realize the consciousness of who you are regenerates through your children and your children's children. That's sort of what reincarnation means. You regenerate the consciousness of who you are. Your energy never dies. It relives itself in the generations to come. Whatever you thought, however you felt, what type of person you are, you put those traits into your family members. They don't come out exactly like you. They customize it to their unique experiences, but a lot of what you are becomes a manifestation in your family members. So if you look at your children, you see a version of you. Sometimes you see a version that's worse than you, and then sometimes you see a version that's better than you. And even if you didn't have any kids, when you go around your aunties or your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, you can see a portion of who you are, even in second generation, like second cousins and things like that. That's how deep your consciousness goes. That's why it's called like a collective conscious. So that energy you keep passing on, it's toxic. That's why I was telling y'all the other day about this whole election stuff. The energy you put out there is going to reverberate into the community, and then the community start acting crazy. Now you see people on there, they punching people at restaurants. You got some white guys calling other people the N-word. You got some black guys going off, catching a case because some white man called him a name. And it's like, why do you care? Just walk off. If he's ignorant, why would you even pay attention to an ignorant person? Why are you letting this? Because the energy on the planet is racial tension, and that's what the shaitan wants. They want us to be angry, upset, instead of making things happen for yourself. Like, you can reverse certain energies. If you put your mind to something, you have the power to reverse certain energies. But it's hard when it's not a collective conscious. When you got 5 people with attitude problems, angry, and you're the only one positive, guess what? It'll be hard to bring that energy into fruition because you have too many energies working against what you're trying to do. That's why you got so much abuse on the planet, because people rather be dense and low vibration than to take the time to figure out how to elevate their consciousness. When you elevate your consciousness, you will start to be attracted to people that are like-minded, that thinks like you. You'll start to see how people treat their kids versus how you treat your kids. When we went to the restaurant today, we was very pleasant. Everybody was speaking to one another. As soon as I went in, I'm like making conversation with everybody. And then the table next to us, they literally came over and said, "Happy birthday." People feel your energy. They can feel how you think. Even if you don't say nothing, they could feel it. They could feel when you worrying about racism too much, or you worrying about this, or you just be focused on the wrong shit. Enjoy yourself and be who you want to be. And the things that you think, you pass it on to your children. Ain't nothing wrong with telling people what's really good. Telling people what to look out for. Telling people how to protect themselves, right? But don't become what you don't like. Don't become that energy. Still be a positive force. It will still move people. And you women out there that just negative Nancy's running around here spreading that bad energy. It's uncalled for. And this is all cultures. Y'all are ruining women. And you talk about, we do understand. It may come and it may stem from the patriarchal system, right? I get that part. That had it not been for the patriarchal system putting women under that strain and that oppression, we wouldn't be thinking like that, right? But there comes a point in your life where that light bulb comes in your head and says, something is not right. Now you become responsible for your actions. So it don't take you your whole lifestyle to figure out you're a bad person, or you're doing bad things, or you're abusive. So when you're insulting your daughters, you know you fucking up. You know you're doing wrong because you can see the hurt on their face. So you don't care how they feel, but then you want to care how the man makes you feel. Or you want to care how your mate makes you feel, but you don't give a damn how your children feel. You gave birth to something, but you don't care how it feels. Make that make sense. And you say, well, my daughter has a bad attitude. I wonder where she gets it from. The fruit ain't cut far from the tree. So where do you think she gets it from? I mean, we can't blame everything on the school. We can't blame everything on the culture. And I'm speaking specifically when it comes to mother-daughter relationships, because we can talk about fathers too, but we're talking about the mother-daughter connection. A lot of it is damaged because of y'all. And I'm speaking from a child, a girl child that has been abused by a woman, a mother. And then I'm speaking from a woman who has given birth to girl children coming from a mother aspect. I carry that matriarchal title very well, but I didn't always understand it. I didn't make the best choices. But once I figured out, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not doing this for my daughter. I got to be a better mom. That light bulb went off in my head and I started discovering ways to reconnect with my children. And even when we have conflict, I always take my emotions out of it and I think about, how do I fix this? Even if my kid is in the wrong, a girl kid, there's ways you can fix it. Treat them first like a human being. If you said something offensive to them, say, excuse me, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I'm upset right now, but it still doesn't give me the right to call you stupid, or it still doesn't give me the right to call you out your name. But I'm your mother and I would like to have a conversation about what you did the other day. You see what I'm saying? You're breaking down the barrier first. Everybody wants to be treated like a human being. But what happens is y'all think y'all own y'all children. Y'all think y'all children are possessions, items. They're not your car. They were born with feelings, emotions, goals, objectives. And they're looking at you for guidance. They're looking at you for, well, how will I be? How do I want to treat my children when they get older? And when they see that you, the person that gave them birth, is willing to call them a bitch, that will never be forgiven. That's why children are so hard on their parent, because the parent initially was their God. When they first came into this world, the mother, especially the mother, was their God. So they're looking at it, how can somebody create me, treat me so bad? That's damn near unforgivable. So you got to get it right before you leave this planet, before you start talking about, oh, generational curses. Yeah, you're the problem. The generational curse stops with you. It's not going to just come out of the sky. Whatever was wrong with your family members, if you have any parts that's like that, you need to get it right. You need to fix it. You need to flush it. Whatever is making you the same way as them, you need to figure out how to get rid of it. If it's your bad attitude, if it's your inflexibility, if it's your drug use, if it's your abuse, get rid of all of it. If it's your love of money, being a workaholic and not knowing how to be a parent, all of those things are abuse. Get you a self-help book, a parenting book, and start from there. The next step is apologizing to the people that you've hurt. All of them. I don't care how you do it. If you got to have an intervention day, a meeting, a one-on-one, whatever works for you, they need to know that you apologize. All the names you've ever called them, you better apologize to your children. Because remember, there's karma in this life and in the next life, the next realm. So that consciousness that you pass on, that karma, it goes into their generation. And that's the curse that keeps repeating itself until you get it right. I had an epiphany the other day listening to a dude named Terrence Howard. He is into quantum physics. And he was mentioning how the energies, he was talking about how energy never dies. And when I was thinking about how energy a lot of times when you want change to come, sometimes it needs a force to make it respond. A force of something makes things respond, whether negatively or positively. That sometimes bring about change. So now we see this election brought about a force. That force is going to force things to either evolve or become a revolution. It's the same thing with your family dynamics. Sometimes a force of something needs to happen before it gets to that curve where change starts to come about. So you're not going to see the change while the force is happening, because it's a process. The force might look bad because all the attitude, all the energies, all the regressed thoughts and feelings will have to surface before the change comes. It's not going to look pretty at first. But if you want to manifest change in a positive way, you have to go through that ugly stage to get where you need to be. Just like if a person decides to lose weight or whatever, or tone their body, they got to go through that ugly stage. They got to be in that gym, sweating it out, looking crazy, right? And then they finally transform. And then you see the before and the after picture. And you're like, wow. But you had to go through that violent change first. You had to push the body into a survival situation where the body realizes we're about to starve. She about to go in this gym and start battling his fat pockets. It's the same thing when you're trying to change your family dynamics. You got to get in there, get grimy, tell people off, explain to people what's going on. And when I say tell people off, I'm talking about the ones that will push against it, because you're going to always have those people that will push against the change, because they're used to the comfortable toxicity, because it's predictable. It's predictable. So they don't want you coming with your unpredictable ass to make change. So if your kids are used to you talking down to them and you try to come apologize, they may not receive it the first couple times, because it's not something they're used to. So they might look at you like, what are you talking about, Mom? Why are you apologizing to me? I don't give a damn about you no more. That's the ugly stage. And a lot of people give up right around that stage. And they never get to that point where their kids truly bond with them or love them. Your kids may not truly ever bond with you because they may look at you as a old fogey. But at least they will love and respect you. You may not become best friends with them, but at least they're going to look at you a different kind of way. And then when they talk about you to their friends, it's in a more uplifting, powerful, respectable way. Versus like, oh my God, my mom get on my goddamn nerves. But I bet you if y'all have that conversation, y'all start to do the work, when they friends start talking bad about you again, like, oh, I bet you don't want to go home. And they'll be like, nah, it's good. My mom's cool. She all right. Because now they look at you different. But no matter what your daughter is going through when it comes to her body, you better compliment her. Find something about her that's cute or something about her that's noteworthy. If you don't find her super pretty, find something else that makes her pretty. Because looks on the outside doesn't always make you pretty. There's other things about people that make them attractive. So if she has some good qualities, bring that out of her by talking about it. You see what I'm saying? Talk about her good traits. Especially if she has depression and all of that. The last thing she needs is your bitter ass talking to her crazy. Because a lot of times it'd be because you're bitter that your life didn't work out, or one of your boyfriends was checking her out and not you. A lot of times it'd be y'all just jealous of them. It's crazy, but some of y'all mothers be jealous of your daughters. Just admit it. Especially if your daughter turned out way prettier than you. Some of y'all just be mad about that. Especially if you got a creepy ass boyfriend. And if you got a creepy ass boyfriend, then chances are you probably got mental illness and you may need to get therapy. Because if your boyfriend is looking at your daughter and you're okay with that, we need to have a conversation, ma'am. Your daughter should be coming home and feel comfortable in her own home. That's her home before that boyfriend. Now, if it's her father or her stepdaddy, that's going to be a tight situation, but you need to protect your daughter at all costs. If he's paying all the bills, then you might need to figure out how to get your daughter into a safe situation. Maybe send her to go live with somebody or something until you can get your life together and offer her what she really needs. But y'all need to have that conversation. Stop pretending, stop living in denial, and stop having cognitive dissonance. All these things need to be addressed before we can get to the next step. If your situation is really fucked up, you got mothers making their daughters do some ungodly things for some bill, just to pay a bill. You're teaching them a bad trait. It's better that both of y'all suffer, go to a shelter or whatever. But the minute you start telling your daughter to open her legs to a man because y'all can't pay bill money, we need to have a conversation. This is abuse. And if you start her off like that, chances are her brain ain't never going to really be right again. Because if the mom could make me do this, my mom, the one that created me, then she's probably going to always feel like she's nothing until that light bulb goes off in her head. But then we never know. She might just keep passing it on to the next generation, and we just have a bunch of dysfunctional people. This is why education is so important. And I don't mean just education through the board of education. I mean educating yourself, reading a book, really learning knowledge. Knowledge is key to growth. The human mind is not meant to just be stagnant. When you start learning some shit, you start moving different. Everything that you learn, the body wants to apply it. So when you see people doing dumb shit, chances are they're probably ignorant. They're probably ignorant. Now, I'm not saying if somebody does what they have a moment of psychosis. I'm not talking about when it comes to like real mental illness. I'm talking about their whole lifestyle. You just see them doing dumb stuff after dumb stuff after dumb stuff. The way they carry themselves, their lifestyle, everything is just upside down. It's lack of knowledge. Your mind will literally perish from no knowledge in it, because the mind is not meant to be stagnant. When they start taking drugs and just destroying their body, they're probably ignorant. Statistics show that people that have a lot of car accidents, that drive drunk, that do that type of dumb shit, a lot of times don't have a degree. A lot of times have a very low education. And I could see why. When they're doing things like that, like the mom off of that movie Precious, she probably had a middle school education. The way she was treating that daughter. And then the daughter ended up having a baby. Her education stopped. It's a vicious cycle that we keep repeating. And I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about people in general when they do the dumb shit. You have mothers that are rich. They have mansions. And they perpetuate the sickness because a lot of them don't read. They might have got money handed down to them from generation after generation. And then sometimes they're part of a cult, so it doesn't even matter if they read. Their mind is just warped. The mental illness goes into there. You see what I'm saying? So all these dynamics bring about chaos. And we just keep perpetrating chaos after chaos. But this message today was to the moms out there. I wanted to show y'all that text message that my mom has sent me. I'm a victim of abusive mothering. My mother abused me all my life. I've been criticized. I've been mocked. I've been talked about. I have been beaten. I have been abused on so many levels. I have been threatened, meaning my mom threatened to take my children from me when I was younger. She's lied on me. She's called police on me. Lying. Like if I told you that story, I have to do that another day. But literally lied and tried to say that I was off the rockers, and I was pregnant with my son at the time. And this was all because she couldn't have her way. The cops even came to the house and they was like, we don't see nothing wrong with her. They asked my sisters, they was like, is anything wrong with her? And they were like, no, that's how my mom is. When she don't get her way, she just either calls the police on people and lies. My mom is the type of person that will call your job and get you fired and say some lies on you and say that you stole something or just madness, okay? So my situation is a bit extreme, but you have a lot of women out there. They can tell you stories after stories of the psychological abuse that women do to their children. We don't talk about these things. We always want to point the finger at the man. We know some of these men are a hot mess because we're living under a patriarchal system. So that is already obvious. The men do it obvious. But the secret demise is what the women do behind closed doors that we don't talk about. And I'm a woman, so I'm talking about it from a woman's perspective and actually going through it. I know how it feels. I understand psychological abuse. It is worse than physical abuse. Physical abuse, your skin can heal and you move on. It does do some trauma to you. But psychological abuse, that does some deep, deep trauma that may never go away. So y'all women need to just straighten up and stop the shit. You want men to respect you. You want to ask for all these demands, but are you putting forth what you deserve? Are you being a good person? I'm not saying nothing about being submissive, honey. Because half of that submissive crap is about control. I don't believe in it. I think if a person respects you, y'all respect each other. You don't need to control me to love me. I don't need to be controlled to show you that I love you. That is a patriarchal mindset, and I think it's bullshit. Because what you do is you conform the women to stagnation. She will never reach her highest potential. She would never reach the pinnacle of what she was supposed to do in this world before she leaves this world. So I'm not saying that you need to be under some man's command to be a good person. But what I am saying is, if we always want to point the blame at the other person, how about we look at what we do too? What we do to our children, to our community, to our families. And this is all women across the board. This is not all women when I say as far as the bad. I'm saying all races of women. We all fall under that umbrella of bad mothering. Now, I'm not saying all women. All races apply to this message is what I'm saying. If you are an Indian woman and you fall under the bracket of being a bad mom, that this message is for you. If you're a white woman and you torture your daughter with psychological abuse, this message is for you. If you are a Latin woman, Hispanic woman, same thing. Black woman, same thing. So I had to clarify that part. Bad parenting is bad parenting. And I am not ashamed to say I have made some horrible mistakes when I was younger that I had to own up and take accountability and change my behavior. I literally had to go to each one of my kids and apologize for anything that could have tortured them when they were growing up. I don't care if it was one name, if it was a slap, anything that could have caused trauma, you need to apologize and help heal that child. That's the best way for them to heal from a mother wound, to actually hear it from the mother. I wish my mom would come to me and apologize. It may not help because I'm already 50, but it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to not wake up and see a text of a woman calling you fat and saying you need to go to see a doctor because something is wrong. That would be nice. So I'm telling y'all, y'all got to stop doing this to y'all children, especially to your daughters. A woman is a precious, precious treasure in the eyes of Allah. Why would you want to crush it? Why? There's so many things that a woman brings to this earth that is actually needed. The people in my family, I'm considered like the matriarch of my family because I naturally have a caring heart. I naturally have a caring, nurturing spirit. But people take advantage of it. They don't appreciate it, not all. So this is because when you don't get appreciated, you stop being as precious. You don't feel that precious. You don't want to be precious anymore. You just want to say, I don't give a fuck no more. Get the hell out my face. I don't want to help nobody. Because you get tired of it. So the ones that are perpetuating all of this abuse, y'all are making the good ones tired. Tired of being nice, tired of helping, tired of nurturing, tired of being everybody's stepping board. Stop doing it. Just because that happened to you doesn't give you the right to continue the demise. Is that what you're going to tell Satan when y'all become best friends? Oh, well, Satan's going to tell you his story. Well, yeah, I felt like I was abused, so that's why I'm carrying out this mission to destroy all y'all humans. And then you're going to say, well, yeah, I agree. That's why I destroyed my kids. Is that what you're going to do in hell? Like, we got to stop making excuses for bad behavior. This message is not solely for the people that are changing and trying to work on healing their bad ways. I'm talking about the people that are still continually in that doing it. And they don't have no feeling about how they're doing it. They may think that the children deserve it. Because you start to get this level of cognitive dissonance where you start to paint the children out to be more animalistic. And you say, well, they act like this, so that's why I beat the crap out of them. Or they deserve to be talked down to because I don't like their attitude. Like, you start finding ways to justify and internalize your bad behavior and make it seem good so that your guilty conscience don't bother you. That's what Cain and Abel did in the Bible. When Cain killed Abel, God had asked him, where is Cain? Where's your brother? I'm saying, I made a mistake. When Cain killed Abel, and God asked him, where is Abel? Where did you put your brother? Where is he? And he lied. He said, I don't know. And then God asked him again, I smell the blood of your brother calling out from the bottom of the earth. He's crying out to me, meaning his soul is crying out to me. What did you do? And he's like, I'm not my brother's keeper. Why you keep asking me? I'm not my brother's keeper. So that was his cognitive dissonance. He's like, I don't owe him nothing. So he justified how he felt about killing him. Like, I ain't my brother's keeper. I don't gotta feel bad. This is what y'all do. That's my kid. I could beat them. That's my kid. I can insult them. No, you can't. They're not your kid forever. Technically, they're your blood. But you don't own them forever. Because when they leave the nest, they don't never got to come back and check you. They don't never got to come to your funeral. They ain't never got to utter your name. You could literally not exist to them. But why would you want that karma? Why would you want that generational curse to keep repeating itself? I'm sorry if you went through that, if your parents abused you, but why not change that today? Why not make that a pledge that I will not be my mother, I will not be my father, I will not be my grandparent, whoever it was that caused you to become demonic or abusive? Why don't you make that a pledge that you will stop this generational curse? This is what it is. And it's sad that these girls have to go through that. The body shaming. They get enough of that from school. But they're getting it from school because the school is bringing it from home. And yes, we do see it perpetrated on social media, from the television. So, but if you are a parent that's promoting good into your child, ain't no television show gonna be able to convince them different. Statistics show that a child that gets love from home has a resistance more higher to peer pressure. I'm not saying they won't get peer pressure at all, but statistics show a tight bonded home, the child has more resistance to peer pressure. And why is that? Because when you give your child a lot of love at home, it builds something in them called self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the ability to know that you can do something on your own or you can accomplish something. Meaning that it's sort of like a self-confidence in your belief in what you got going on. Whether it's how you dress, how you look, how you speak, the skills that you have, the goals that you look forward to do. If you have a level of self-efficacy, peer pressure does not have a big ass impact on you. A lot of times, peer pressure has an impact on your kids because you haven't helped them to build self-efficacy. So what happens is when the kids in school is telling them, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you need to be down with us in order to feel cool. That's why you don't got no friends, because you're not cool, because you're not following what we do. So if they don't believe in themselves, they actually start to believe what the other kid tells them. Oh, I'm not cool, so I got to do what he say so that I won't be laughed at. That's low self-esteem. So you have to start building self-esteem in your children from young. You don't wait till they turn preteen to start telling them how great they are. Anyways, I'm gonna have to have another session on that part. But my main part is, if you could please, at this point in the junction, stop insulting your daughters. Stop body shaming them. Don't worry about their weight. If they're gaining weight or losing weight, find out the root of the cause. Because it could be something more to it than just the body. It could be that they're depressed. So if you see that they're going into different emotional turbulence, don't focus on the body. Focus on the actual problem. And if it's just regular flaws, like little small flaws, like they just gain a pound or two, or, they got a little acne or something, That's not something to focus on. Let them deal with their own shit. They probably got enough that they going through. They don't need you over here. Oh, you got a little pimple. Oh, you got, your face look. Just shut the hell up with that. When my daughter checked me 2 years ago about talking about her stretch mark, I shut the fuck up. And I didn't realize I was doing it. And guess what? I probably picked that stinking ass, nasty ass habit from my narcissistic mother. And half of y'all are imitating narcissistic parents or narcissistic people that was in your corner. So now you're thinking this shit is normal. So don't repeat the curses of your generation. If that means cutting out some people in your life temporarily or permanently, make it happen. Until they're willing to get therapy to stop bringing their toxic shit to your family, do what you got to do to protect your generation, because you are the leader of this next generation if you having children. Because they're not going to blame the grandparents. They're going to blame your ass. So it starts with changing the behavior immediately. Stop talking down to your children immediately. Stop with the, I'm your mother. Stop that shit. Because if you are the mother, you don't have to keep saying, I'm the mother. The reason why you're doing the I'm the mother thing is because they know you're full of shit. So now you got to keep reminding them that you got some leverage over them. It's fake. If you are a mother, that means you're constantly in mothering mode. So they don't need to be reminded of that. It's like a man saying to a woman, I'm a man. I can see that. You don't have to remind me that you're a man. When you're doing that, it looks insecure. Just do the work. If it's something that it's like a conflict because you're a mom and that's the child, all you have to say is, listen, I will not tolerate disrespect. That's how you're doing the mothering. You don't have to say, I'm your mother. Just say, I will not tolerate disrespect. And the next thing is the consequence of the disrespect. If you're going to continue to disrespect me, this and this and this will take place. But if you know a lot of it is coming from abuse, then they're not disrespecting you. They are doing self-defense. You have provoked them to become belligerent to you. So you have to take into consideration, how did it get this way? How did the source start? Did they start by trying to come to you and say, Mom, I don't like when you down me. I don't like when you take away my dreams and goals. I don't like when you call me names in front of company. I don't like when you body shame me. And every time they came to you in the past, it was like, oh, shut the hell up. Go sit down. I'm your mother. I can say whatever I want. And then when they finally curse you the fuck out and you're like, oh, clutching your pearls. Oh my God, don't you talk to your mother that way. That's the fucking problem. That is abuse. That's abuse. And this is what I'm trying to say. At this point, you don't have no leg to stand on. You need to apologize. Point blank period. Apologize. And then get to the next plateau on how can you build a better communication with your daughter. And when you start doing that, you build better women. When you start building better women, you will be building better men. Because the men are going to have to conform to get the woman that is of that caliber. But if he can get her at a low vibration, he ain't even got to do no work. He just pump and dump because she's abused and she don't feel much worth because her own mom who created her never made her feel good about herself. We will be continually creating a world full of ignorant children that becomes ignorant adults. So we have nobody to blame on how this world turned out but the shit that we do. These young boys that's blowing up buildings, we need to go into the family's dynamics, ma'am, sir. Y'all need to stop pretending. It's a lot of people walking around pretending. If my children was out here cutting up and acting up, I already know I'm going to have to do some internal investigation on what the hell did I create. Some of these kids don't even have parents. They're in the foster care system. But none of y'all wanted to take the time out to go down and adopt them. Y'all rather spend $50,000 and get a fake insemination done than to go down to one of those places where you can take a child from young and raise them as your own and then maybe have a kid. I'm just saying. We always talk about these things that we never have, and Allah is showing you all these babies out here that needs a loving home. But no, the baby got to look like you because you want a second part of you. Like, some of the reasons why we even have kids is questionable. It's questionable. Y'all already heard my story on one of these videos about why I decided to have one of my children. Ridiculous. Because I wanted to know what it felt like to be loved. What? Girl. Like, if I can go back to my old self, like 20 years ago, and slap some sense into my old self, I would have told myself a lot of shit that could have avoided a lot of mistakes. But I didn't have a mom. My mom didn't care about me. She never told me about the birds, the bees, nothing. I had to figure it out on a whim. And these men damn sure wasn't teaching me. They was getting the goods off of the dysfunction. So if I'm having a baby just because I want to know what it feels like to be loved, what about what it feels like to love the actual child? And I'm not saying I didn't love my kids. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, from the neglect and the loneliness I felt when I was in my 20s, that should not have been a reason to have a baby. And the way some of y'all treat y'all daughters, I be sitting back like, why did you even get pregnant? Why? Just to torture another child? Why would you become a parent? To torture somebody else? It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And I understand I'm supposed to be a psychologist, and that's what I'm studying. But you gotta ask yourself these questions. Why did I have a baby? If I don't even like myself, if I don't like people, if I don't like children, why did I create another one of me? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. And as raw as it sounds, it will give you some answers about who you really are. What type of person are you? Are you as good as you really think you are? Because if you start asking these deep questions, you're going to find some ugly shit about yourself that you've been hiding from yourself. You've been able to split that brain off and hide some shit under there. And we need to get it out. We need to find out, who are you really? Because you told yourself a lie a long time ago, and you actually believed it. You believe this lie about yourself. That you're loving, I love people, I love kids. But you can't even stay in a room with your own child without cursing him out. Make you wonder, right? So yeah, let's not do that to our children, please. If you can't help yourself, and you really just can't help yourself, every time you see that child, you just want to say something mean, get therapy. Because just remember, the things that you hate about that child, you are creating it into a bigger version of it by doing what you're doing. And I'm not judging you. I'm just giving you what really needs to be heard. What the real is. It's like an intervention at this point. Because a lot of these women out here are really getting destroyed mentally and physically. And it's sad. It's sad what they out here doing. And it all goes back to, they really just wanted love to begin with. But anyways, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my night. I had a really good night. A really good day today with the family. I didn't expect my nephews to come, but the 8-year-old, he has autism. So it was a little bit of a challenge at the restaurant and stuff like that, to get him to keep still and listen. So some of the focus went off of me really being in the zone, because like I told y'all earlier part of the week, the whole idea was to have like that peace and quiet. I didn't even, as you can see, I couldn't really talk in the video because there was a lot going on. They were playing music in the background. So one of my videos that I'm posting probably is not going to get monetized. I don't make a whole lot of money off of each video because I'm still have like I'm not consistent and I don't have a whole lot of views. So I don't make a lot of money, but a year from now some of these videos might get bigger. So I don't like when I see some of the videos don't get monetized. You see what I'm saying? Like the video that I made, the vlog at the airport, it said I won't get monetized for that video because there was music playing in the, the little airport elevator music that was playing. So I said, damn. In order for me to do it, I have to go and re-edit it. But the way my schedule is, I don't have time for nothing. Just me going out today, I'm going to have to make up my schoolwork tomorrow when I wake up. So it's just been schoolwork, massive amount of papers and reading. So right now I'm not really focused on my YouTube like the way I should be. But the money's going in there, is building up. I don't know how much I made so far. Probably like close to $200. But I just let it sit there and just let it keep building up. So the more videos I pump out, the more they will start to send money to. I think when every ad that you make, you get money. But I'm not really thinking about it right now. It's a big commitment. Because I wanted to start making, skits and 30-second skits. Because y'all see me serious a lot, but I have a really funny side. And I imitate people really funny. So I had wanted to make, that side, my acting side, and do skits and stuff. But I just don't have any time right now. So I've been praying to God on it. I really would like to do YouTube somewhat full time and not have to go back on the truck. But if I need to get my money right, I would have to go back to trucking. So that's why YouTube hasn't been like a full-time situation for me. But anyways, overall, I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy reading the comments. But I was about to say, I guess I might be messing up your name. Happy birthday to True. Is it True Unique 777? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. May you have many more. I think you are 50 as well. So shout out to the big 5-0s out here. And I had wanted to give you a shout out when I was in the restaurant, but it was just so much going on. So I apologize because I did promise to give you a shout out. And shout out to the Trinis. Y'all know I'm Trinidadian. Shout out to One Man for recommending the restaurant we went to. What was it called? Sammy's Fish Box is the name of the restaurant we went to. From a scale from 1 to 10, I would have to give Sammy's Fish Box a 7. Because the snapper fish, although it was okay, I felt it wasn't enough seasoning. It didn't have season. But it was big, so I'm going to eat that tonight for dinner, and I might make me some sweet coconut bread. But thank you for recommending the restaurant. I really enjoyed myself. Being next to the water was really refreshing, and the weather was pretty decent today. It was actually kind of hot. And yeah, so my little nephew, he was a little rambunctious, so I didn't really get to. I wanted to be like in a more romantic, calm, serene. But True Unique had mentioned that she wanted to spend her birthday on an ocean front by herself. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that sounds like me. Like, that's what I really wanted. But I don't have my car with me. So I was, when I went with my brother, he has a car. So that's why I just had to deal with what I had to deal with. But I hope you're enjoying yourself and being near the water, doing what you need to do to unwind. But just being around the water for that little bit of time, it really did make me feel happy and at one with myself. But I guess I'll talk to you guys later. I did have 2 more topics that I want to talk about that's really, I don't know, some people might get it and some people might not. But it's kind of getting into like metaphysics. So I may do that. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Maybe Monday. But I will try to get on and bring that topic that I want to talk about. Next week is my last week for these classes. And then I get a 3-week break. So hopefully within the 3 weeks, I got to go back to the dentist. And I may try to just take it easy. I don't know yet. Because shit just be popping off. Somebody always trying to like get me to let them move in or some shit. Like, I just want to be at peace. This week that just passed, my niece was here. So I was, playing like host a little bit. But I want to be able to just relax. I may have a date. I don't know yet, but that's going to be my little secret for now. I think I'm not ready to date seriously yet, but I would like to just like maybe have a friendship and take things slow. So I am talking to somebody right now, and I'm gonna see where that goes. If it goes, we'll see what happens. We'll see. But if I don't hang out with them, I might hang out with them for the holidays. They invited me to have Thanksgiving with them, so we will see, y'all. But other than that, I'm just taking it easy, relaxing for the night. Oh, did y'all see that boxing fight? Oh my gosh. Women are vicious. Those women were vicious. Amanda something and Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is Irish. Amanda is Puerto Rican. They was strong. They was boxing until the skin fell off the girl's face, okay? Amanda's face, her eye, the skin was hanging, and they was still fighting, and they was vicious with it. But what I didn't like was that the white girl, the Irish girl, she kept headbutting and then boxing, headbutting and then boxing. And then I read on Google that that's illegal. So I kept saying to myself, even though I didn't really know about the rules of boxing, I kept saying to myself, why she keep using her head? That seems unfair. It just didn't look right. So I asked my daughter, I was like, is that something you could do in boxing? She said, well, maybe they were UFC fighters. And I said, no, I think this is boxing. She said, you sure? I said, yeah, look at it. And she goes, oh yeah, that's boxing. So I said, can she do all of that headbutting stuff? And then she was like, I don't think so. So I saw the referee. He really wouldn't break her up until after she got some real good punches and headbutts in. And I'm like, I think he should have broke it up immediately as soon as you saw her head coming towards the other person, you should have pushed her off. And then my brother said he feels that the Puerto Rican girl, Amanda, she wasn't dodging and weaving enough because she kept catching the punches. And it's like, as a good boxer, your agility needs to be on point as well, not just your reach. Because Amanda had a strong, far reach. But her dodging and weaving was weak. She kept getting punched. And I'm like, girl, don't you know how to dodge a punch? And then by the time I started watching Mike Tyson's fight, it was boring. And then my Netflix kept lagging out, so I was like, I'm going to bed. But when I first started seeing Mike Tyson fight, it was all right. It was pretty strong. But then it just looked kind of like, I don't know. After seeing that vicious fight with Amanda, nothing else compared to that fight. That was one of the most vicious boxing fights. I don't watch boxing that much. I used to watch it when I was younger, but I was like, this fight kept me up. I stayed up, and then I watched it again today. Not all 10. I just watched like the last 3. That was when it got really vicious. But it was a good fight. So I don't know if y'all saw it. It's on Netflix. The Mike Tyson versus, I don't know the dude's name. I heard he's a YouTuber. I'm like, wait a minute. Mike Tyson's old ass, now he out here fighting a YouTuber? What is the world coming to, y'all? What is the world coming to? I wish I could do commentary, but let me go to bed. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great night. Love y'all. Bye.